She had to tell the audience that she tips big because even she knows she sounds insufferable. Hey, I'm an but at least I tip. This dame probably virtue signals on the toilet. But that's not the point here. While everybody else was trying to figure out how to survive as the government told us that breathing in public could kill us, Sunny was lolling around in her big house clicking on pictures of arugula while mixing Cocoa Puffs into a Haagen-Dazs. Oh, the oppression. I wonder if she wiped down the groceries herself or had her maid do it.
They get so much hate watching and hate watching viral clips of them saying ridiculous things. I mean, it is a rabies-infested hen house.
And at the same time, it seemed like the most interesting part was their audience seemed to be on my side.
Everyone missed the real story. Everyone except Joe Rogan and Greg Gutfeld. They saw right through Sunny Hostin's polished TV smile and pulled back the curtain like it was a surprise plot twist. Rogan didn't need any coaching to drop his insights, and Gutfeld brought the laughs. Together, they turned her carefully practiced professionalism into a rapid-fire wave of punchlines.
Hostin's obsession with race gets thrown back in her face. Today's video comes to us from Sunny Hostin. Sounds like a town. We're in Sunny Hostin. She was on PBS's Finding Your Roots, a show dedicated to researching celebrity ancestry. For context, Sunny is a staunch supporter of reparations and has made a fortune spewing nonsense about white privilege and racial justice. Well, turns out she's not as oppressed as she claims she is. She's actually the descendant of slave owners from...
Sunny Hostin has a real talent for landing on the most off-base take in almost any situation, like it's an Olympic sport. If clueless confidence were a marketable skill, she'd be on the Forbes cover. But here's the twist. In a world full of experts, economists, cultural historians, and people with at least a few working brain cells, Sunny somehow manages to talk the loudest while saying the least that actually makes sense.
I saw you on The View.
Yeah. Yeah, so that's been overwhelming my past couple days.
Yeah, is that annoying?
No.
No?
No, I mean, it's just... When I was on there, I really had no idea how it was going to land with the audience. So I just went in there, did my thing. I had no idea what to expect. I didn't know who Sunny Hostin was. I actually still really don't know. So I wasn't expecting necessarily for her to kind of try to ambush me in that way and attack my character in that way.
Rogan, who's talked with everyone from neuroscientists to flat earthers without ever losing his cool over the IQ gap, seemed genuinely stunned that someone could turn being wrong into a full-time TV career. Sunny Hostin has a habit of speaking in moral absolutes, like she's perched on a mountaintop handing down decrees to the rest of us mere mortals. Meanwhile, Greg Gutfeld couldn't resist diving headfirst into the fiery volcano of her hypocrisy.
Here's how she took the news. Roll it.
Wow. I'm a little bit in shock. I just always thought of myself as Puerto Rican, half Puerto Rican. I didn't think I was, my family was originally from Spain and slaveholders.
Yeah. So how are you feeling, my friend?
I think it's actually pretty interesting that my husband and I have shared roots.
Yeah.
So I do appreciate that. And I think it's great for our children to know this information. I guess it's a fact of life.
Let's start with the ever-cheerful host, living in her own personal time warp. A parallel universe where yelling at everyone and accusing them of oppressing women somehow counts as activism. It's a strange place where personal responsibility is treated like a villain, smugness is celebrated, and disagreeing with her logic automatically gets you labeled a bigot, a misogynist, or secretly funded by.
I guess it's a fact of life that this is how some people made their living, on the backs of others.
Fact of life. Interesting change of tune. For more, we go to our chief Sunny Hostin correspondent for a reaction.
Joe Rogan called it exactly what it was: weaponized narcissism dressed up as woke analysis. Here's someone who tried to paint middle-class Americans as secret oppressors on live national TV. She acts like grabbing a meal at Applebee's is a punishable offense, and once suggested rural Americans shouldn't even vote unless they could pronounce bourgeoisie without dripping sarcasm.
Problem with that show is that show has this very specific ideological bubble in which they operate in. You know, and they always bring on a token conservative woman and they yell over her and silence her. And, you know, they did that with Meghan McCain, and they did that with what is that other blonde woman from Survivor? Do you remember her, Jamie? She was always yelling. I mean, it's a bizarre show.
Greg Gutfeld, meanwhile, came armed with more than just a mirror. He brought a megaphone, a spotlight, and a sarcastic bulldozer. Watching him untangle her contradictions was like peeling an onion, only to discover it's made entirely of recycled Twitter threads and manufactured outrage. Her political commentary is as confusing as a kid trying to understand taxes.
Means it's time for...
Living your life and you're feeling low. You don't know what is true. You don't know what's true. So you quick flip through the channels to watch Sunny on The View. Oh my God, the stuff she says is dumb. Where the hell they get this woman from? She's a host who's always crass and lame, with lots of nonsense to proclaim. If you want a show where people know the host is stupider than you, then set your DVR to watch Sunny Hostin on The View.
Nicely done, G.
Greg Gutfeld, meanwhile, went full surgical on her so-called reasoning. He dissected the greatest hits of Hostin's accidental comedy with ruthless precision. Like the time she argued certain opinions shouldn't be platformed all while using her own massive platform to shout those same ideas into the void. It's the political equivalent of railing against junk food while holding a cheeseburger in each hand. Gutfeld didn't hold back. He served up the full roast, brisket style slow, sizzling, and impossible to ignore.
Very strange show, but it's fun to watch. It's just fun to watch them.
It's good entertainment.
Yeah.
Undoubtedly.
Well, they're just, you know, it's interesting because I think Sunny is very intelligent, but she's ideologically captured.
Right.
You know, I think the other ones, there's a couple of the other ones, don't have to name any names, who are just very dull-minded. But I think Sunny's not one of them. I think she's smart but captured.
Sure, I think she came into it with an agenda.
Of course.
You know.
They do everything with an agenda.
Yeah.
You know.
Sunny Hostin often lectures the country about injustice while casually slipping in details about her vacation home and Ivy League degree, all while insisting she's just like us, from behind a custom oat milk latte. Greg Gutfeld turned that into a full Broadway-style joke, dubbing it the privileged prophet. He joked that claiming moral superiority next to Joy Behar is like being the designated driver in a demolition derby. Rogan likened her to a Tumblr fortune cookie, vague, self-righteous, and completely allergic to nuance. Gutfeld roasted her for calling out disinformation while spreading her own, comparing it to playing a kazoo in the middle of a symphony.
Oh, I'm gonna milk this till the end of time. You're right. Anytime she says something stupid, I'm gonna go, slave owner! Exactly, because if she is shaming descendants of this, will she continue to do that when she is now one of them? And it is funny. She's so wrapped up in identity, and she had no idea who she was.
Greg summed it up perfectly. Sunny doesn't want equality. She wants to make the rules, rewrite them, and then label everyone else as racist. Rogan compared arguing with her to trying to teach a cat to juggle. Pointless, frustrating, and painful. Every challenge becomes violence, and every sarcastic comment is automatically problematic. Gutfeld added that she's like a fire alarm that only goes off when someone uses logic. Rogan joked that if she had her way...
People have to wonder, where does Sunny Hostin get her opinions? Yeah. Like you said, it's obviously from her husband. She has to tell her what to say on The View, because without it, she's got nothing up there. She's not very bright. But the problem with her is that she went full racist. She injected skin color into a fairly generic behavior seen in all spouses, regardless of skin color. People marry, they listen to each other, they have something in common with them, they share their political views. She just didn't want to upset her husband by saying her husband makes her do everything, and then she'd have to accuse him of being a racist. Because if he told her that this is what white women do, then he's a racist. You see?
In what universe do people think they can debunk science by tweeting about their feelings? Sunny Hostin does, and if you dare ask for a source, she accuses you of tone policing while demolishing your reputation. Gutfeld joked that her next book should be titled Gaslight, the Memoir, complete with a preface in full caps. Rogan's final roast boiled down to one searing truth: Sunny isn't having conversations. She's holding ideological hostages. Disagree, and you're evil. Question, and you're canceled. Laugh, and you're a threat to democracy. Even bacteria would find the environment sterile. Sunny Hostin won't be remembered for insight, only for the laugh she sparked while aiming for profundity. Rogan and Gutfeld held up the mirror, exposing hypocrisy, flawed logic, and contradictions, all while keeping the laughs coming. 2 mics, 1 Fox mug, 0 rebuttals, and Sunny's sunny disposition turned to shade. She complains about tone, then responds with the emotional equivalent of a sledgehammer wrapped in smugness. Gutfeld joked that she's the only person who can make sunshine feel condescending, a sneer disguised as praise.